Wasn't really interested in making music until this one time he had a session with an artist, so he was producing for that artist. They couldn't just get the bass line right, so I helped out with that. So it kind
You're
of
the
like
quiet one sitting in the back of the room, like, guys, let me try something.
Yeah.
I know you're good friends with Nasty C, right? Do you ever remind him that, yo, man, Def Jam,
I
hit
did
me up
this
first?
no, no.
That's why Nasty actually said, am I ever going to quit? No, I can't.
Nah, I think
Piano.
I've been.
Are you going to give us piano? That's what everyone wants to know.
I'm a piano. I don't know. I'm trying to. As soon as I find the pocket that I like, then I'll be able to share something with
Imagine
you
him
guys.
singing and they go, wow, wow, way.
Wow,
in the
wow,
back.
wow.
No. No.
Not Tellaman going, "Weerala."
No,
Where's
no.
Allah?
Your mornings with Malume Tap.
Welcome to your mornings. Tellaman, good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. We're doing better now that we're hanging out with you.
Thank you for having me,
it's
man.
a good starting point. This track, right? It's a track that a lot of people got to know you for the first time. Kind of where we first saw the name. But strangely enough, when Speedster dropped this track, little quick story from my side. We were on a flight. I was on a flight with Speedster together, and he didn't even tell people he was dropping a track that day. Like,
Really?
yeah, we landed in Durban. He's like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I just dropped a track. Please go and like and share the artwork here." Turned out, I don't even think Speedster knew what that song was gonna do when you guys dropped it. So I asked the question to you: did you know that the song was gonna have that kind of success, and how did you get involved in that collaboration?
First of all, I didn't know. I don't think anybody knew that the song was gonna, become so big. But I think when Speedster reached out to me, I was still in Durban at the time. I hadn't even moved to Johannesburg, so I think this was around late or like early 2016, if I'm not mistaken. He just hit me up via Twitter, and then he sent me the song. It already had like a hook on it. So I just had to write a verse for it. So I think I was the first guy to put a verse on the song. So yeah, man, that's how it came about, really.
And it blew up.
Like crazy.
Quite shortly after it dropped. At what point after the drop did you guys actually say to each other, like, whoa, this thing is... I mean, it was the biggest song in the country. I don't care what anyone says. That year, it was the biggest song in the country. Still slaps even now, all these years, 8 years later. At what point did you guys realize that we've got something here?
I think after a few performances, this was like maybe almost a month the song had been dropped. So like just seeing the reaction, like, face to face, and just getting that reaction from people was crazy.
A lot of people might not know that you're very focused also on the production side of things, right? Producer, you sing, you rap, you do everything, but it all started really young. Little Birdie told me that you actually started messing around with production like 14 years or 13 or 15 years old. When did it all start?
A friend of mine who was way older than me, they used to make beats and record themselves, and I used to just hang out with them. I wasn't really interested in making music until this one time he had a session with an artist, so he was producing for that artist. They couldn't just get the bass line right, so I helped out with that. So it kind
You're
of
the
like
quiet one sitting in the back of the room, like, guys, let me try something.
yeah. So from that point onwards, I kind of like got interested, and then that's how I got hooked.
This is so interesting.
Guys, it's such a similar story. It's always, why is it always that it's the guy hanging out with someone much older than them, they're quiet in the studio,
back.
and then next thing, it kind of blew up. But from a sound perspective, I mean, you've messed around with a couple of different sounds. Production-wise, when you started, what was the goal? What kind of music did you envision yourself making?
I think it was pretty much everything that I grew up to, which was obviously dance music, soul, hip-hop, and R&B. Which I still pretty much do till this day. Like, I don't, as a producer especially, I like to try out different sounds and see what I like at that moment and just build from there.
How did the Soul Candy thing come about, right? Because like you were featured on that one, and if I look at the names that are on there, right? I think was it Sessions 14 or Sessions 15?
It was 15.
Yeah, the Soul Candy Sessions 15. I mean, you had Flavor, Lulo, Cuba, Harel, Selko,
which were really big names.
Yeah,
Still are
where did you fit in with that, and how did that come about?
That was pretty much intimidating. So how it came about was through a friend of mine called Pascal. He's from
As
Amsterdam.
in Pascal and Pierce? No.
No.
Okay.
Pascal Moret.
Pascal, wow, big names are being dropped here.
He's a producer and a DJ. So he reached out to me via Facebook when I just started out putting out music, like dance music specifically. So he wanted to remix a song that I did and put it out under his label. So that's how we got introduced and became acquainted. And then a few months later, he hit me up. It's like, yo, this label manager from Soul Candy is interested in doing this, blah, blah, blah.
Was that Harel? Is that at the time, is it Harel that hit you up or was interested?
This was Kid Funk, Alan. Yeah, he was label manager at the time. So, yeah, that's how the whole situation from Soul Candy came about, yeah.
And at that point, did you ever think like, okay, house music, that's like a lane where I want to go into?
No, at that time, I just pretty much loved everything that I was doing. And I was listening to a lot of house music also at the time. So it didn't feel like something that was kind of foreign and also I wasn't thinking a lot about just styles of music and how you can get boxed in that, and people don't want you to venture and try out different things, right? So to me it was like an opportunity to sort of like get into the game and put myself out there as a musician. So I felt like, you know what, let me just test it out on a bigger scale. So yeah.
Now 2020 COVID hits SA, right?
Yeah.
2-3 months later you join Def Jam. What mission were you on? Like, we were going through so much as a country at that time. Where was your headspace?
Well, to be honest with you, when the conversation of Def Jam Africa came about, I think at UMG, because that was gonna go through Universal Music. So I was one of the few artists that had just started working with Universal, and that were doing something that wasn't necessarily fully African. You know what I'm saying? So I think I was the first artist to have that conversation with them.
Kudos.
Yeah, and then after that it was Nasty C and other guys as well. So
I know you're good friends with Nasty C, right? Do you ever remind him that, yo, man, Def Jam hit me up first?
No.
That's why Nasty actually said, am I ever going to quit? No, I can't.
Nah, we never really speak about those kind of things. But I kind of knew that that's where it's going to end up for him anyways. Which he even took it further, because now he's dealing with Def Jam.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys have been friends a long time. Some would say before the fame hit.
Yeah.
Right? How much of an influence would you say the two of you have been on each other's careers in music?
I think a lot. Well, from my side, a lot. When I started listening to Nasty's music, I was still in Durban, obviously. But like, to me, the idea of making it out of South Africa hadn't really, settled yet. You know what I'm saying? So just listening to him and Crown Young and the way that they were approaching music, kind of put that spark in me as well, and be like, okay, this could go beyond just South Africa.
Sure.
From his side, I really don't know. He used to tell me that he used to listen to our music way before we even met, like the way that we approached. I think it was more from the side of like the sonics of the music, really.
Sure.
Because the people that I was working with at the time, they were very, if it was rap, it was very like Kasi rap, if it was soulful, it was very like Afro soul. But like, the goal was always to try and make everybody and everything sound as best as we could at the time, and with the equipment that we had. So that's where I think my most influence came from.
And that's where the biggest changes happen, the equipment. Yeah? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But do you ever, just a quick one before we go to a break, do you ever, like nowadays, I mean, we also got a brand new single from Tellaman. We're going to release that, and we're going to play that a little bit later. But do you ever sit in studio now, these big studios, all the technology, everything at your fingertips, do you ever, like, throw it back in your mind and think about where it started and the kind of equipment, and do you see that as growth?
Yeah, for sure. I think about that a lot, and obviously it is growth. I think not just like equipment wise. Obviously, equipment would allow you to be better sonically, but you still have to improve as a person and as a creative. I think, yeah. And
so there is hope for those that are starting now the same way, right? And that's what I was leading into with the question, right? Is you don't necessarily need that finalize that big universal type studio.
No.
The bedroom producers, they can still make it out of the bedroom, right?
To be honest with you, I still record in my bedroom. So it's not like it's not like I go to these big studios every time I need to record or
the label are listening, they're like, yo,
you know what I'm saying? And I like it that way, to be honest with you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Josie, you've got a question you've been dying to ask about music genres.
Yeah, now we know that our country is very diverse when it comes to genres, right? There's your amapiano, there's R&B, and many other. But also at the same time, I feel, Tellaman, that our country is not so receiving and very welcoming of R&B as a genre. And so I'd like for us to talk about its landscape. Do you share the same sentiments as me, or do you feel like it's where it needs to be, or we could do a bit more in appreciating the genre and our artists as well?
I think we could always do more in terms of supporting just people in general. But obviously, understanding that South African entertainment industry as a whole is very young, you know, and it's very dominated by dance music, right?
Sure.
So even when hip hop came up, it wasn't enough support around that until a certain point. And I feel like for every style of music, you got to start somewhere, you know. Somebody's got to take the hit, feel me, for the next generation to actually fly, you know.
Where do you then see this genre in the next 10 years? You know, its lifespan. Is it going to see, you know, the passing of time?
I think it can. It has the potential. If we can, like, as R&B musicians, if we can release music a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? You know, like how hip hop artists did it, where they use the internet, they release free music.
Yeah, the
every
SoundCloud
other
sort of era
exactly.
as well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need to start somewhere. You know, you can't just release music and the next thing you're on radio and TV and all of that stuff. You know, I was lucky enough that I was able to tap into other styles of music, and then continue doing the R&B style as well. If it wasn't for that, I think I wouldn't be where I am today.
Sure.
Would you diversify and branch into other genres?
Piano. Are you gonna give us piano? That's what everyone wants to know.
I'm a piano. I don't know. I'm trying to. As soon as I find the pocket that I like, then I'll be able to share something with you
him
guys.
singing, and then you got wow wow way.
Wow,
in the
wow,
background.
wow.
No.
Not Tellaman going, "Weerala."
No. There's no way. There's no way.
Danny K just entered the WhatsApp. He's like, yo, stop leading our man astray. Yeah.
No ways. I think we have enough of that. Actually, we have more than enough of that. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you. You mentioned the whole, the hip hop wave of like releasing stuff, putting it out there, that SoundCloud wave where people had access to it. Nowadays, it seems that your TikToks, your Instagrams, your X, those kind of platforms, they've become not just important but critical tools for when you want to release a track. Gone are the days of just having a dope artwork and you could put out the artwork and you could put out. Talk to me about that process. When you've got a record, even if it's your own or one that you've just co-produced with someone, talk to me around the strategy of releasing and where social media comes in, whether it's a challenge or it's just visibility. How do you guys strategize social media into the whole musical package now?
To be honest with you, I think I'm the wrong guy to pose that question to, because I'm not a social media person. But I understand that the whole social media thing has become so critical in terms of like releasing and rolling out contents these days,
Does your
especially
label
after
give you trouble for that? Where they're like, dude,
they do
you need
all
to
the
be more
time.
involved.
Yeah, they do all the time. But I guess we're still trying to figure that out till today. Because I feel like for a person like me, I'm not the type of person that's gonna just hop on in front of a camera and just start dancing and do all these challenges because I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll
You and me
embarrass
both, man.
myself. You know
You
what
and
I'm
me
saying?
both, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather just stick to what I know and try to improve on the other side as well until I find a way to do that. But for now, I don't know. I think that one is kind of bigger than me.
In
at
terms of
this point.
social media, maybe I'll ask it like this: the way that your music can be added to people's reels and stuff like that. Do you pay attention to those kind of numbers and that kind of stuff?
I personally I don't, but the people that I work with they do. So yeah, I think my content is basically around the music itself. So like I would film myself just making the beat or doing like a beat breakdown or like how I mixed the song, how
Sure.
I recorded it, type of thing. As far as the dance challenges though, I haven't got around that yet. Maybe I need a dance teacher. I don't know.
Well, no, listen, you just get other people to do them for you. That's the beauty.
Maybe I
of it.
should get Mo
You get Mo.
Yeah,
How's the dancing
to
going?
do
I
a
don't know.
challenge there. I don't know.
Listen, you got to just find a couple of dancers, get them to do the challenge for you. But it is crazy, and I'm sure you've worked with artists that do take that kind of thing a little bit more seriously.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, even choreographers are now being brought in to come up with challenges and that kind of stuff to spread the music.
Yeah.
What you currently working on? What's the next thing that you're gonna hit the market with?
So right now I'm finishing up my EP, which should be released in a month or two.
Hey.
Yeah. So, but we're still sorting that out in terms of like how we're releasing it and stuff like that because I'm in talks with some other company that I could potentially start working with. But the reason why we're here today, we're here because of a song that I did with Killer Mo called Sanalwami. I think late 2019, early 2020, I was experimenting around the sound of just trying to bring old South African music into the present and trying to fuse that with the style of music that I'm doing, right? So this is like one of the ideas that I was working on at the time, and if it wasn't for Mo, actually it wouldn't have come
A little
out
bit of
really.
nostalgia kind of vibe.
Exactly. So that's what I was trying to experiment with. Hopefully I can still do like a full project just on that. But yeah, this is what I'm doing right now.
All right, well, we got Mo in studio. He's like hiding away from the mic. No, your mic is on. Mo, talk to me a little bit about the project. We're about to be the first radio station to give it a spin.
Yes, sir.
When does it officially come out? And talk to me about the song itself.
We are officially live tomorrow, midnight in a few hours. There's the countdown on my phone keeps reminding me every 30 minutes. The song, obviously, like T explained, it was gonna die in the vault. So South Africa, it's a pleasure. We decided we need to bring it to the front. For
How long has it been in the vault?
So we left at 2021.
Sure, so a couple of years in the vault.
Yeah.
Could be 2020.
Could be 2020. It could actually be before that.
Yeah.
You might have started the idea before that, but yeah. So yeah, we figured let's release the song. We got Zola's blessing. Actually having lunch with Zola tomorrow. So you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of that. And yeah, man, we just thought because we both love Kwaito music. I mean, we used to have Sundays. I'm sure our neighbors hate us now. We used to have Sundays where I'd come home from the club and I'd just start blasting Kwaito music, and then he'd wake up, grab a glass, pour a drink, and then it's our party. So
Mo, do you think it's important what you're doing with this kind of sound of like paying homage and bringing that sound, like Tellaman said, into the future? It's not necessarily saying, no, we're making Kwaito, or we're not going to give it a label, but how important is it to keep those kind of samples, that kind of sound and that nostalgia in today's market?
I think it's incredibly important, because if you listen to all the music that you enjoy and all the music that it all comes from somewhere, right? We all sort of sample something,
Sure.
one of the biggest genres right now, being amapiano, is from Kwaito music. You
I
get what I'm
believe
trying to
so
say?
too, yeah.
And I think it's important to educate these 2000s where where the songs they're dancing to come from, because I think the appreciation grows a little bit more, and the appreciation for African music grows a little bit more, and they feel connected to it versus just, okay, it's a song I did a TikTok challenge to. So I think it's
100%.
incredibly important to keep bringing this music back so it's appreciated more. And
So I
just
said
feel- I just
Netflix
feel
did
like-
the Lord's work when they brought Yizo back for the 2000s.
You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, for sure.
You understand?
For sure. I just feel like we need to get more blessings from like the OGs to be able to use the music.
Yeah, man.
Because
Shout out to-
sometimes it's kind of hard
Is it
to.
tricky sometimes? I wanted to
Sometimes
find
it's very
out.
tricky, you know. Sometimes it's very tricky to get the samples cleared and all of that stuff. So
I mean, we saw, not to make fun of him, but it's so easy to do that. I mean, we saw the instance of Black Coffee, who I put up there as our number one DJ, right? As a DJ, he's flying the flag for us. He was just mixing Papa Penny's track. He literally wasn't making a remix, wasn't doing anything. And we saw Papa Penny's reaction to that. He got angry. He's like,
Imagine.
how do you remix my song? Do you think that, and you have touched on it, but do you think it's important to bridge that gap, and that like the Grootmans need to be like, yo, let's continue with the sound and bring it back?
yeah, for sure. I think because I think the reason why in South Africa specifically we have these huge gaps between generations in the music is because of those kind of things.
Sure.
It's like you have your time, you shine, and then when it's done, it's done.
done.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's the new wave. Where I feel like it shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? For somebody like Zola to have blessed us with so many, you know, soundtracks to our lives, to be looked at, and you know what I'm saying, like he didn't do anything for us as a community, as you know what I'm saying. It's just
Frustrating.
it's very frustrating. So now you think to yourself, like, you know, you look at guys like Snoop Dogg in the US, they still part of the game. They're not releasing any music at the moment and
Sure.
stuff like that, but they celebrated by the young, the old, you know what I'm saying. I feel like it should be the same in South Africa, where you look at somebody like Kefa Semenya and you like, it's an OG. It's not just a random guy you just passed on the street.
100%. I'm going to give you a...
Hallelujah.